Hare Krishna. Today, I welcome all the viewers, whoever would watch this video. And I'm speaking today on the Bhagavad Gita and how it is influencing people towards using and reading it and implementing it in their daily lives in all spheres of their engagements. So, the Bhagavad Gita is also sought after by leaders. Now, you would say, what is the need to refer to Bhagavad Gita for leadership and management? It sounds like as if mostly people have this notion that such texts which are spiritual are meant to be only kept in their uh, altar or a puja room and worshipped, you know. So the practical aspect of this books, or more appropriately, they call it grantha. So more appropriately, the practical aspect of the holy book, like Bhagavad Gita, is was hidden for so long. I mean, there were people who were progressing and they were leading the society, even in the ancient times. Not that it wasn't known to the leaders in the society, but now it is available to the common man too. A common man also understands his responsibilities towards life and uses this book to keep himself calm at all in all situations, and thus he experiences that his life is very rewarding after reading this book and using all the principles mentioned in his day-to-day life for practical purpose. Now, when those of us who are familiar with this book of India's ancient wisdom, uh, Bhagavad Gita, they tend to roll the eyes when they see yet another translation of Bhagavad Gita published, or yet another commentary, especially one about Gita on leadership. But with leadership lessons from the Bhagavad Gita, I'm not just happily surprised, but frankly amazed to see how the Gita's wisdom has been brought up by those so called leaders who are really striving for better prospects to eliminate the very depths of what it means to be and act as a leader in all spheres of one's life, bringing real benefit for both the leaders and those who follow. The translation of the original text is it has to be close to the truth and done finely, and the reflections are richly illuminating for deep understanding of the reflections should be truly illuminating and for the deeper understanding of what is true leadership and insights for with references, and they should be backed up with insights with the and insights they should be backed up with references for empirical support. Now, we have a copy of this Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we are fortunate that we are able to understand all these translations of the original text that are in Sanskrit, those verses of Bhagavad Gita that are in Sanskrit. They are translated into the regional languages and the English language, which is the um, common language of communication when it comes to the international standard. Now, we'll discuss what are the qualities of a leader. A proper leader he does work with integrity, with maturity, and he is non envious. Integrity, he does justified activities. With maturity, he displays courage and considerate, and he's considerate. And non envious, he is non envious when it comes to how he deals with his fellow colleagues or fellows in his group, whether be it a corporate leader or a political leader. Yes, you would be surprised. You might say now politicians and they would be non envious. But this is possible. Bhagavad Gita has made this possible. And this wisdom is there in it, and we can read from it. And there is could be a great help to those leaders who are aspiring for a better and better workplace. A leader's role is to set example to lead others, and a true leader is shown respect befitting his position. Now, if a leader engages in sinful activity that becomes the standard, if he is strict, then that becomes the standard. We all at our own levels are leaders to one degree or another. We all have our sphere of influence, and the greater the sphere of influence, the greater is our responsibility. The leaders of society, despite all their materialistic plans, are misleaders, for they have no plan to revive our lost relationship with the Lord. Now, what makes Bhagavad Gita so unique? The Bhagavad Gita is written for all those who want to be free of confusion. Now, you would say, what is that confusion? It looks like a relative term, or are you referring to a general one? Confusion. What is this confusion about? Although it appears, now from the Bhagavad Gita's perspective, we see Arjun was the only person who he was. It appears as if the Arjun was the only person intended to be, to whom Krishna said that um, all the Bhagavad Gita wisdom it looks like, but it is intended for everyone. I came across some persons who were saying that Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjun and he was present in person. But what about us? We do not have Lord Krishna in person. So, what are we supposed to do? But Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti Grantha. And when you are reading, the moment you read it, Lord Krishna is right before you. And it is He who spoke. It is, if you read the Bhagavad Gita text, it says Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. So Bhagavanu Vacha means Bhagwan says. So when he says, it is a transcendental wisdom. So when it is Bhagavanu Vacha, the Lord is right in front of you, and you are in the role of hearer. And when you read the verses, you should have that conviction and the faith that the Lord is speaking to you through that verses. So it is for everyone. Now, when you are perplexed in your search for the truth, removing that perplexity will bring enlightenment to all. Excuse me. Regardless of caste, creed, religion, or nationality, Bhagavad Gita has proven to be appealing to those who seek truth, strive for perfection, and interested in a comprehensive science of everything. Now, approximately 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, spoke to Arjun on Kurukshetra battlefield about the science of life as it is now presented in this holy book, Bhagavad Gita as it is. What does Bhagavad Gita teach us? When you have any book, and it is a big one, like let's say 200 to 300 pages. So you must know the gist of the book, what it is about. Once you know, then you are focused and limited to one topic, and you don't wander here and there. And that is the way to get the gist of that book, because 200 to 300 pages reading is too much. And when you are clear about the goal, then it becomes easy and you can relate whenever needed. The Bhagavad Gita, when you read Bhagavad Gita, it is not necessary for you to relate, because it is Bhagavad Vani, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. So, directly by the mercy of the Lord, it sinks into your being, and the doubts, the queries are resolved. So that is a general approach, and it is not different even when it comes to holy book. So much as we read uh, any other book for our reference, the same approach here, but the field is different. This is a transcendental field. So, nevertheless, my point was, when you open Bhagavad Gita, at least there should be some inquisitiveness as to what this book is going to teach me and why am I opening it, why am I reading it. Otherwise, it is difficult to come to the conclusion and draw something from that. So, better you have a little um, groundwork done before you read it, and you can relate to it, and it will keep your interests growing. Now, to consider the deeper, what does it teaches us? It teaches us to consider the important and deeper questions rather than the questions we are trained to ask. We are trained to ask so many questions. We are so much inquisitive of so many things in general, such as, what is my position? Now, this is about the transcendental field. So, we must be asking, what is my position? What is my relationship with Supreme? Rather than, what is the name of new series on the web series? And what is happening in the next 5 years? This is for the politicians. They have this 5 year plan. So, they make a 5 year plan, and what to be done, they are working towards it. 5 year plan. In the corporate sector, the leaders, the executive, the chief executive position people, they plan for a decade altogether. So yes, it's very surprising, but they plan for a decade. And not only that, they also have a vision for what to do in next couple of decades. So, but what about our life? What is the value of the human life? Bhagavad Gita teaches us how precious human life is, and how God has already made every provision for survival. We experience that the world is having an identity crisis and people are confused. Our true identity is that we are spirit souls. And since we are naturally happy because we are a part of the supreme whole, Satchidanand, we are we seek happiness everywhere. We constantly look for happiness in the dead or transient things such as family, country, but our efforts are futile because we never experience lasting happiness, despite the fact that our nature is eternal and we seek everlasting happiness. So, what is the confusion about? We got it. The confusion is that our nature is eternal and we are seeking happiness in the transient, the fleeting pleasures, which is contradictory. So, there has to be some alignment. Since we are part of the Supreme Whole, we are eternal in nature, our efforts also must be directed towards that. So, Bhagavad Gita teaches us selfless love is the true source of happiness. Now, selfless love, it is also called as bhakti, and selfless love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita. As simple as that. And the confusion is resolved now. Because one may read, there are many in a group. If there are 10 people in a group and they are given Bhagavad Gita copy and they are asked to write on a paper, why would they go ahead reading the book? You will get 10 different answers and their approach will be for different dimensions. And they may not even understand that what is the message of Bhagavad Gita on a general level for all the people. What is the common message? And that is the confusion all about. One, unless one you understand what is the purpose and which holds for all the souls on the earth, irrespective of whatever their conditioning in life is, whether rich, poor, whether Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or any other faith. The message of Bhagavad Gita for each and every of this differences, considering these differences, the message is one: selfless love directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is called as Bhakti, and that is the Sanskrit language. The Bhagavad Gita has all those verses. So, Bhakti is the Sanskrit word, the proper word, and it translates as selfless love to the Lord. Not selfless love. Whom can you do selfless love? The only worthy recipient is our Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is Lord Krishna. And that is his teaching to Arjun. And that is teaching to us all through Arjun. Now, we try to see, forgetting all these differences, the temporary labels applied to the body, we need to start positioning ourselves on a neutral platform and view things objectively. We try to see everything in relation to the Supreme rather than our enjoyment or temporary designations. So our relationships with others have improved and we start to respect all living beings. So, what would be more rewarding for a true leader, wherever he is, in whichever field he is, to be respecting every living being around him to begin with? So, if the leader is following this and he is true to it, the others will follow him and respect him. So, to begin with, the leader must have this basic quality. And Bhagavad Gita teaches about the leadership skills, management, and the life quality, on improving the quality of life. Considering all this, one must definitely read this book daily. And even if you are, no matter how busy you have, a whole day, your schedule is busy, you can spare at least 15 minutes daily to begin with. And once you regularly read for 15 minutes at least daily, you would say, what impact does it make? But yes, to begin with, 15 minutes is also a lot. And then you will find that your things are done on time in lesser time, and you have more time to read. And probably you can spare 1 hour starting with 15 minutes. That's all about it. Thank you.